Good morning, campers, and welcome to First Nations Camp. For some of you, this is not your first time having camp. Some of you might have been here last year. Some of you may have been to camp for several years before, so you might already be experts on what's going on. Some of you, this might be your first camp, and we welcome you to join us on this awesome journey for the next few weeks. But something that all of us can agree on is this is the first time any of us have been doing First Nations Camp virtual. So all of you have probably gotten your camp kits by now. I hope so. That's why we're watching this video where we explain everything that is in here and what we're going to be doing with it for the next few weeks. So first and foremost, when you got your box, you probably already got your caterpillars in a separate bag with instructions. There is a video that is already up right now that will explain everything that you should be doing with it. I hope you've watched it by now. If not, go ahead and go click on that video and figure out how to best place your caterpillars somewhere. But for this video, we're going to go over everything else that is in the box. So when you take off the top, they are put together a certain way, so I know some of yours might have other things on top right away. But I'd say the most important thing right away just to talk about is this binder and all the papers that are in here. This is organized by week, so our camp's 4 weeks long, and each week has different materials in it that we'll be doing that works with the different videos. So as the camp progresses, depending on what videos you watch, there are activities in here, anything from coloring sheets to different type of sample sheets for each video. And I would actually, if you go to the front, this is important too. This is our camp curriculum. And this will tell you exactly what we are doing each day for the next 4 weeks. And so some days we're doing things from watching videos about how to put our caterpillars together. We're doing yoga for the brain. We're doing art and brain teasers, growing stuff. Every day it's on our sheet. So if you ever are trying to remember, each day, what do? You can always come back to the sheet. Everything will be on Google Classroom as well, but if you don't want to log on or you're having difficulties, we've made sure that there's still something right in your hands that'll tell you exactly how to do it. Going back to our binders, I would like to just give an example of how the camp is supposed to run. And so for our first week, today's Monday, and so we're watching the kit unboxing video, and we also are doing a Google Classroom from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. where we would be discussing everything that's in the box, what it is for. If you have missed that, that's okay. That's what this video is for. So anything that we talked about in the Google Classroom is here in this video. It'll explain everything. But if we move down to, let's just say, this Thursday, we are doing amazing amphibians. So there is a video that you will watch on YouTube. We have linked it to the Google Classroom. And then going to the week 1 binder, or the week 1 folder, I should say, in our binder, you'll find that there's a whole bunch of different amphibian-related things, but one of them is the amphibian worksheet. So something like this goes with the video. So as you watch the video, we'll talk about how bullfrogs and toads and salamanders and all different amphibians are cool and what they, how they grow up and why they're important. And so you can actually use this sheet then while you watch the video to draw pictures and take notes. So each week has activity that might match up with the video. But again, the curriculum will always let you know where you are supposed to work in your binder. So now that we have the binder explained, what you're supposed to do when, let's talk about what's actually in the kit. There's a whole bunch of neat stuff in the kit. So right off the bat, so a bag like this is for our planting activity. So we will actually be putting our potting soil in it. In your bag, you also have, or in your box, you also have a bag of potting soil. There's dirt. We actually have a purpose for that. It is going to go in this bag when we do our planting activity. So some of the items that are in this box are meant for a certain day of a certain week on our, in our camp. So not everything is to be used right away. Something like our net or our binoculars. These items have a specific day where we will actually, be learning about bugs and looking and catching for bugs. And we also have a bird watching day, or multiple days where we'll actually go and try to see what type of birds are around. That doesn't mean you have to wait. Stuff like this, you can use this right on day 1. If you want to go out and use these binoculars, go for it. Something like the bag of dirt we are saving for when we are actually growing stuff, because we only have one bag of dirt and you want to make sure we use it right. Also in our kit, you'll notice that we have multiple books, any things from birds to bugs. There's a couple different books in here. If you wish to read these out of order from the curriculum, that's perfectly fine. But you will notice that on the curriculum, there are some days where, you know, let's take the time to read this book, or we'll read that book. But if you want to read it ahead of time, that's fine. But all the books actually have a day where you'll actually get to sit down and read them. Our kit also has many different ways to color. So both in your art lessons and your science lessons, there's going to be a lot of coloring involved. So we've got colored pencils, Crayola crayons, and markers. So whichever type you like to use. I love using colored pencils for certain activities, but then again, crayons are really good for tree rubs. When we do the bark rub, it's a lot better to use the crayons, so we've included crayons as well. And markers are a lot smoother and more permanent, so we've given you 3 different options to color with. Now it is summer, and so it is very hot and sunny out some days, and when you are going out and adventuring, we don't want you to just carry everything in your hands, so everyone gets a nice drawstring backpack. So depending on what activity you are doing, you can use this backpack to hold on to your binoculars, whatever thing you are using to color with. You can put your activity sheet, you can even fit the binder in here most likely, and the net shrinks down, so when you're actually needing to use it, you can extend it out, but when you're ready to pack it into your kit, you can shrink it down. So we have a backpack so you don't have to carry everything in your hands, but again, what we want to stress is, since it's summer and it's hot out, you got to stay hydrated. And so this year, we always do water bottles, but we decided to try something different. So this actually, it inflates. So I don't know if anyone has ever seen those backpacks where they have like the bladder in it that the water actually fills up. So we actually went this route, and these are really cool. So they actually fill up with the water, and they'll fit real nicely in these bags. So we always make sure you want to stay hydrated out in the heat. So fill this up and make sure when you go out to drink water and stay hydrated. It's very important to stay safe. And again, water bottles are cool, but I mean, I just think this is so neat, this design. So we're trying something new this year. Let us know what you think, if the water bottle was better, if the water bag. I really like the colors. There's even a clip on here. That's what's really nice. So you could actually, in theory, there's actually a ring on here. You could clip it to hang on the bottom. So you don't even actually have to put the water bottle in the bag with everything, because sometimes water bottles will drip water. And if you have other stuff in your bag, you wouldn't want that to get wet. So I think what's nice about these bags with this clip is you could actually clip your water bag to hang on your backpack, and that way, even if it dripped, nothing would get wet. So we decided to try something new. Let us know if these are good or not. Let's see, what else do we got in here? Woo! Look at all these snacks. We got a whole bunch of different stuff to snack on while you're out hiking. We got anything from different types of chips and Teddy Grahams, cookies, to Nature Oats Crunchy Bars. So just like how we want you to stay hydrated when you're out there hiking around and exploring, you want to make sure you have a snack with you too to keep your energy and your strength up. So we made sure we included some snacks for us, which is really cool. Another thing, don't eat these. So I just mentioned snacks. Going back to the bag of dirt and our actual planting bag, so those are for the plant lesson. So are these. These are beans. Now, I know some of you probably know that beans are food. These are not ready to eat. These are beans. These are actually the seeds that we want to plant. So you will have a bag in your box. We'll have about 5 or 6 of these beans in here. So make sure to either keep them in your kit or put them somewhere safe. But these are supposed to be here. I know it kind of looks silly where it's just in a little plastic bag. It's not garbage, and it's not food. It will be food when we actually plant it. So just make sure you keep this in your kit and keep an eye on it, because these are supposed to be here. These are for one of our science activities. This is where we learn all about botany and growing our own food. Oh no, this is awesome. Okay, look at this. Oh my gosh, that's actually heavy. So this is a sketch pad, and I know that you're going to be doing some art lessons. And besides that, I definitely recommend you go out into the field when you're out exploring nature to also do some drawings of what you see out there, because a lot of our activity sheets actually, call for you to do some sketching and whatnot on the sheets, which is, it's cool and perfectly fine, but you have so much paper on here too, and this is a quality sketchbook. I'd say this is this paper is real nice, and with the 3 different types of ways for us to draw and color, I highly recommend trying to fill up this entire sketchbook, because you've got plenty of pages to work, to work with. But this is real nice. So yeah, big sketchbook for all of our creative art ideas and science related ideas. We can fill this thing with everything we want. Some other things that are in here, we've got a tree cookie. For those of you that have been here in the past, you'll know that we usually made these into necklaces. There'd be a hole and we'd actually write our names on it. We don't actually have the tree cookie necklace this time, but we knew how much everyone liked to decorate them from last year, so we still included them. And so if you wanted, this would be a perfect time to use the markers, I'd say. So there's always a different, a different job for these different types of coloring. But when it comes to the tree cookie, I would definitely recommend the marker. That'll stain the wood much better. Another thing that's in here, so this is a hand lens. So it's basically a fancy magnifying glass that you can take out and explore with, and you don't have to worry about wrecking it. And there's not a long handle on it that would poke around in your bag. So when you're not using it, you can actually just slide it in like that. And when you're ready to view something, you just slide it out, and this becomes the actual handle that you can actually look around with. So some of the stuff that we'll be doing, one or two things will be involving insects. So the butterflies and the caterpillars that we will be growing in our container. Once again, I'd recommend watching part 1 if you haven't already. It's a 3-part series for camp, so we're going to be growing our butterflies. There's a lot of different times that are going to call for this hand lens. From when they're caterpillars to chrysalises to butterflies, there's always a time to get a close-up view of those awesome creatures. But when you guys are out and about, you can always bring this with you. It'll fit nicely in the bag, and you can use it for pretty much any situation that calls for you to get a close-up view. Same goes for when we're growing our plants. I find that using a hand lens, there's a lot of details on the leaves and the flowers that you might miss just looking with your eye, but when you have your hand lens, you can see a whole nother world. One thing I'd like to remind everyone, as cool as all this stuff is, we did our best to make sure we could find the coolest stuff for camp. Some of you may have your own kit to yourself. That's perfectly fine. Some of you may be sharing a kit with someone else, or you might be sharing a couple of kits with a bunch of people. The most important thing still is to remember that these are all just things, and what we really want to know or make sure is that everyone is having fun and everyone's getting an equal amount of time with them. So remember to share and to make sure that everyone is having fun. These are neat things, but ultimately it's people that are the most important. We want to make sure we are respectful with each other and we're respectful with nature, especially with something like a net with bugs or whatever. We just want to always make sure that all parties are having fun and are safe, and no one's feelings are not being taken, we're not taking people's feelings into consideration. We always want to make sure that everyone is having fun. That's the golden rule. So that pretty much covers most of what is in the kit. I know I didn't cover everything, but I at least tried to explain how certain things like our planting bag and the soil and the beans are meant for an actual activity and lesson that has a certain date. So when you get your kit, I would highly recommend the first thing you do is sit down with an adult and read through the curriculum to understand which of these items you can just use all the time, or if there's actually a day where a certain book is supposed to be read, or if you're supposed to be using your planting bag or whatnot. So make sure you read through the curriculum and you know what days to do what. I know we are doing a Google Hangout every Wednesday where we will check in and see how camp's been going for you. If you didn't make it to today's Google Hangout, this is the video for you. But you can leave a question in the comments. That was the point of the Hangout, is you could actually ask questions. And so if you do have a question, we will be keeping an eye on the YouTube. So if you have any questions about anything in the kit and you can't wait until Wednesday, you can go ahead and leave a comment on the video and we'll get back to you on that. But yeah, stuff like the net and the binoculars, you don't have to wait till the actual week. You can just go ahead and use them right away. But again, if you have any questions about anything, go ahead and leave a comment, or we will see you on Wednesday. I'd just like to one more time say, welcome to camp. And I know things are a lot different than what we usually do, but we're glad that we could still bring camp to you this year, and we're really looking forward to seeing, what we can actually, make happen with all this cool gear. So we'll go ahead and wrap the video up, and we will see you all soon on Google Classroom. Have fun out there, be safe, and happy summer.